Why, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Truly Odd podcast, where we bring you the latest in game news and movie news. I'm your host, Joe Garcia. So grab your controllers, get your popcorn, and let's dive right on in. Now, I hope you all had a great 4th of July, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend ahead of you to come. But we're going to start our day here with some movie news topics. And our first topic of the day is Reaper Actual has finally dropped its announcement trailer. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Forgive the broken headphones yet again. Now this game looks pretty interesting. I'm loving the way that uh, this cinematics looking so far, at least. Now this trailer is a bit confusing because when I watched it, I thought this was going to be somewhat of a looter shooter type game, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I think it's a PvE, PvP type game, like more of an MMO. But it looks fairly interesting what they got going on so far with this game. Oh, and on our last episode, we have issues with showing a trailer for Cat in the Hat. We might have issues with trailers, so we'll see what happens here. If we are, then I'm going to stop watching them, put them on mute, and we'll just talk over them as they play. This is kind of why I thought it was going to be a looter shooter, kind of get pick up loot and stuff like that. Not more than money, some other stuff maybe. And then shortly they're going to be showing us some pre-alpha footage. If you don't know what pre-alpha footage is, it means that it's subject to change entirely, essentially. Probably more graphical improvements, more gameplay improvements, and stuff like that for the pre-alpha.
Another beautiful day in Morova.
Looks pretty interesting. Here's the pre-alpha footage.
Welcome to Morova, Reaper.
Reaper Actual coming soon.
So yeah, it might be looking interesting to you guys. Let me know what you guys think of the trailer and the comments down below. Is this a game you're going to be checking out? I believe right now it's going to be PC only. Yeah, I don't think they've announced even a release date as of yet. Yeah, TBD or TBA to be announced. But yeah, it looks like a little interesting game. I'm hoping it's kind of like it seems somewhat like the Delta Force type of game, which is now going to be coming to console soon. We talked about that the other day. So it looks pretty intriguing. I thought the trailer was really interesting, decent cinematics, and the concept looks fun. Maybe like it looked like somewhat from what I was seeing in the trailer. It's like open world base. You get to kind of set up your own bases, upgrade them, and then people can go in and loot your base and things like that. So I'm interested in how it's gonna turn out. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Moving on to our next topic of the day. If you guys haven't heard, MindsEye has been released, and if you have not played MindsEye, that's because it dropped with a hell of a lot of bugs, and a lot of people weren't very interested in this game. It seems like the new what's the game I'm looking for? Cyberpunk game, because it released with so many bugs. That being said, it looks like a lot of the devs, or about around 300 of the devs, have received at-risk emails. Now, normally at-risk emails can mean like emails with spam and possible hackers sending emails. But in this case, at risk emails means that they're at risk of losing their job. It's really sad to see, especially when you can tell they put a lot of hard work into this game. The problem that I think this game had, and the truthfully is, I don't think this game had a lot of QA. If you don't know what QA it is, it means quality assurance. It's basically game testers. Now, I guarantee you this game had game testers later on, like pre-release, maybe like the last year of the production. The problem is they should have had main QA guys at the beginning talking about the main gameplay mechanics and what was wrong with them, and taking a lot of input from their QA team, because the QA is supposed to be not only find bugs and issues, but it's going to be the filter between the devs and the actual people that purchase the game, the customers. So QA comes in, finds all the bugs, of course, and stuff like that, but they also want to take QA's input on where the gameplay is going. This is kind of a GTA-esque, not clone, but GTA style game, so the fact that it wasn't turning out that way from the beginning should have been noted by the team, and they should have, turned course. But I think this game, if they're able to do a lot of the fixes and do a lot of the changes, they can bring it back, kind of how Cyberpunk was able to do so. But if they're already at risk of losing their jobs, who knows if they'll be able to. I'll have this article in the description down below if you're interested in reading more. Really sad to see that this is happening, and again, another studio in the gaming industry that's probably going to be laying off quite a bit of people. It seems to be a pattern nowadays within this game industry that studios just aren't meant to last, and that is very sad to see happen, especially when a game that kind of tries to do its own thing, tries to be a new IP, fails, and it's sad to see. But that being said, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you care? Are you hoping that they can fix a lot of the issues with MindsEye, or are you even interested in playing the game? Let me know what you guys think. Moving on to our next topic. Looks like the Anthem servers are going to be shut down come January 2026. This has been a lot of issues coming with live service games, with companies having a lot of different server bases that only can be played. The game can only be played through their servers, and a lot of players lose access of that. And we're going to talk about another story for our last topic of the day that kind of reflects on what's happening here with these Anthem servers being shut down. So if you were ever interested in checking out the Anthem game, the initial release wasn't so good, but they have done improvements and things like that, so I'm sure it's looking good now. But you have about 6 months, 6 to 7 months to enjoy the game before they shut it down on January 12th, 2026. So go ahead and check out Anthem before they shut down the servers. Moving on to our next topic of the day. So yesterday, or on our last episode, we talked about how Microsoft has shut down Perfect Dark and Everwild, and some of their other games and their other studios have been shut down. But it looks like Microsoft has released a statement saying that every game shown in Xbox Showcase this past June is safe from any type of not being released. And if you're like me, you were like, wait, what games were that? Were there any games in there that I was interested in? Like the Fable game and things of that sort. So it looks like they said certain games are free. So if you're interested in knowing what those games were, I don't have the list right here because I was trying to run to get the show done, and I was busy yesterday with spending time with family and friends for 4th of July. So sorry to say, but if you're interested in knowing what games are safe, you're definitely going to want to look at the June showcase that they recently had. I think we talked about it before, but if we didn't, maybe I can, if you guys are interested, I can get a list of games that are safe together and let you guys know what those are. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Last game topic of the day. Stop Killing Games reaches 1 million signatures. Now, if you don't know what this is, I believe it's a UK movement, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's a UK movement where they're trying to sign, I guess, their version of a petition, or not a petition, maybe something to get into the hands of their government over there to stop killing live service-esque games. Games like Anthem, as we just spoke about. This started with The Crew. There was like a lot of people playing The Crew game, and they shut down the servers as the two crew was coming out, so a lot of the people that bought the original game were no longer allowed to play the crew, and that's kind of sad because a lot of these companies' word is purchase the game, buy the game, but you're not purchasing the game, you're not buying the game, you're licensing these games because they're live service games, and they will not be able to function without the server bases because these games weren't developed for single player use, they weren't developed for multiplayer local multiplayer use, they were developed for server based uses. And with excuse me, with server based use games, there's certain settings that you can preset so it's kind of equal. No one can cheat. Well, I mean, people could cheat, but no one can really push past what they need to do for the servers, and so that's or not push past, like be overkilly, if that makes sense. Cars that go too fast, so like the server handles all that corrections and things like that. Anyways, that being said, it's a double-edged sword. I know there's a lot of people online kind of going back and forward about it. I think Pirate Soft had some issues with it because he's coming at it from a developer's perspective, which is totally understandable, and then the other people are coming at it from gamers' perspective, which is totally understandable. I personally think that it's a double-edged sword. If this goes through, stop killing games, then the UK is probably not gonna excuse me. The UK is probably not going to be getting a lot of live service games to avoid this law if it comes into production. And then eventually it'll come to the US, and then live service games will probably stop altogether because it's going to be a problem for companies to develop the game in a way where they can have it server based, make their money, and then have to continue to run it after it's all said and done, or make it a campaign game. Either way, it's a complicated subject, but I think what they need to do is change the wording. You're not purchasing the game, you are paying for the license to utilize the game. And even so, that being said, live service games like that should probably be free to play. Your free to play games. It's more understandable when users see that the servers are shutting down because hey, not only is no one playing no more, but they didn't purchase the game; they were playing it for free and stuff like that. So, a lot of the live service games that are free to play have the right mindset. Introducing microtransactions and things of that sort. People that are interested in skins and stuff. So, yeah, it's just a whole around tough situation. But if you're in the UK and you're interested in signing this petition or whatever this is, you can find out more if you go ahead and Google "Stop Killing Games." Reaching 1 million signatures is a big milestone, so we'll see what ends up happening. I'm going to keep my eye on this and see where it ends up going. But truthfully, I don't think it's gonna do much. I can't see studios really changing the way that they develop their games or stopping them from shutting down servers just because players want to play it. But I do think the wording of purchasing and licensing a game will need to be changed going forward. And that does it for our game news topics of the days, guys. We're going to go ahead and move on to our movie news topics. And sadly, our first topic of the day is some sad news. We recently lost actor Michael Madsen. If you don't know who this is, he has starred in quite a bit of movies. He was a great actor. He's mostly well known for the following: Reservoir Dogs, Kill Bill, uh, Thelma and Louise, Free Willy. He did quite a bit of movies with Quentin Tarantino, and he's done a lot of other projects. Quite a bit of B flicks as well. Once you have a career like him, you tend to do a little bit of everything. And he was a phenomenal actor, and he will be well missed. I hope he rests in peace. My heart goes out to his family. And what I'm gonna do probably is I'm going to be watching uh, Reservoir Dogs and the Kill Bill movies in honor of him, and just recapturing the memories of when I first seen him on screen because he was just a phenomenal actor. So again, heart goes out to his family, and I hope he may rest in peace. Moment of silence for Michael Mack. All right, moving on to our next topic of the day. It looks like we're coming up on the 50th anniversary of Jaws. Jaws was released 50 years ago, which is crazy to see because Jaws is the original blockbuster. If you don't know, before Jaws, blockbuster was not really a term. From my understanding of it, um, people lined up to see this movie and literally closed down blocks because people were in line to watch this movie. Thus, for the blockbuster was created, and Steven Spielberg, the director, started what's known as making a blockbuster film. And Jaws coming out on, it says here opening August 9th, but a lot of places tend to show it a day earlier on August 28th. So if you're interested in checking out Jaws in theaters for the first time, go ahead, look up your nearest theater, check out Fandango. They got the 50th anniversary coming. I will definitely be watching this in theater. I have never had the privilege of seeing the Jaws movie in theaters, and I would love to check this out. Now, mind you, if you've never seen Jaws, 50 years old, so it's not as exciting as modern day films are, so don't expect a whole hell of a lot when it comes to that. But for what the movie is, Steven Spielberg did a phenomenal job with the Jaws movie. I cannot wait to watch this in theaters. My hopes is I will try to catch it in an IMAX screening, in real IMAX. Now, I'm in Cali. I think there's only in Southern California, I think there's only 3 places where you can see things in true IMAX, and I think that's the Ontario Edwards, the Irvine Spectrum Edwards, and one in LA, I think. I can't remember what that one's called, but yeah. So hopefully I'll be able to check that out once I have the opportunity. But let me know what you guys think. So are you excited to see the 50th anniversary of Jaws? And if you have not seen Jaws before, let me know if you're going to check it out there for your first time. Moving on to our next topic. The Sandman Season 2 has finally dropped on Netflix. Now, it's Season 2, 6, Part 1, I guess you can say. They only dropped the first 6 episodes, and currently it has a pretty good score on Rotten Tomatoes, sitting at a 75% critic and a 74% audience, which is really, really good for a show like this, for what they're doing with the show. Now, I have had the privilege of watching the 6 episodes. I stayed up till like 4 in the morning the day before 4th of July, or the day this dropped, just trying to catch up. I watched about 3 or 4 episodes. I couldn't stay up any longer, fell asleep. After 4th of July last night, I finished the last 2 episodes that I was missing, and the first 6 episodes are just great. If you haven't seen Sandman at all, like not even the first season, I highly, highly recommend you guys go check it out. It's a great story. It's based off a graphic novel, The Sandman. If you haven't even read the graphic novel, I highly recommend you guys pick that up as well. It's just a phenomenal story, phenomenal acting. This is a great, great show, and I'm very sad to see that this is probably going to be the final season, because a lot of if you watch this, you're going to be like, wow, they spent a lot of money on the budget for this. The CGI is great. I mean, it's not groundbreaking CGI or anything like that, but like you could tell they put a lot of money behind this project, and I think it was well worth it, because this is one of the greatest shows I've seen come from Netflix. I like it more than I like it more than any other Netflix show. You can name a Netflix show, Stranger Things, whatever. This I enjoy a hell of a lot more, and I really, really wish it picks up a phenomenal amount of audience members to watch, so they can continue to adapt the graphic novels. But if they won't, then luckily they kind of do it in like not a shot for shot. It's not, but it follows very closely along with the graphic novel. So if you're interested in seeing where it goes after season 2, you can probably pick up the graphic novel and pick up where you left off and really understand what's happening, or just start from scratch if you want. But yeah, Sandman season 2 part 1 basically dropped, and if I'm not mistaken, the next part of season 2 will be coming. Yeah, see, volume 1, where is it at? The rest of season 2 will be dropping at the end of July. There it is. Yeah, the end of July. So July 24th, we're gonna get the final. I think it's 2 more, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 4 more episodes we're gonna get, I think, of the Sandman. And so these 6 were already so good, so I cannot wait to see what the final episodes of the Sandman are gonna be. But let me know what you guys think of the show. Have you seen it? Are you looking forward to watching it? Let me know what you guys think. Moving on to our 4th topic for movie news. It looks like James Gunn has let slip some spoiler news. So if you don't want any spoilers for the Superman movie, go ahead and just skip on to the next topic and just skip this. But if you're interested in knowing, I figured since the director talked about it, it will be good to talk about it. It's now public knowledge. But it looks like we know who is going to be playing Superman's father, Jor-El. And that is going to be Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper is going to be playing Jor-El. They've been really good friends since the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Of course, Bradley Cooper is the voice of Rocket Raccoon in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and he will be playing Jor-El. Now, I don't think his role is going to be super massive or anything. I think he's mostly going to be like maybe a hologram when Superman needs to talk to his dad, get some advice and things like that. I also think he's voicing one of the robot companions, because I know that we got I forget their names, but anyways, people are voicing the robots. I think Bradley Cooper's one of them as well. But yeah, we got Bradley Cooper as Jor-El, which is pretty cool to see, pretty interesting new. We're soon gonna be getting Superman within the next, what is it, 5 days? Yeah, I think it opens up next week on the 10th, on Thursday. I have tickets for the 8th, which is an Amazon Prime movie event. So I already got my tickets for the 8th in IMAX, which I cannot wait to see. I'm very much looking forward to the Superman movie. I think it's going to be phenomenal. My fingers are crossed. I have high hopes for the movie. Now, my usual goal when I watch a movie is to take my expectations and leave them at home when I go to the movies, but it's really hard to do so, especially when you want something to be very successful and you want something to be a certain way. But so far from what I've seen, I think Superman's turning out to be a great movie, so hopefully, fingers crossed, it is. We'll have to wait and see. And moving on to our last topic of the movie news today. If you haven't heard, Megan 2.0 has been a terrible flop in the movie theaters as of late, because the original movie, when released, Megan 1's opening weekend was $30 million, and Megan 2.0, I believe, when I have it written down here, has opened to about $10 million domestically and is currently sitting at around $20 million worldwide, which is not very good, especially when they upped the budget quite a bit, turned it into more of an action genre movie. Now, Jason Blum has come out and said some things, saying that they kind of looked at Megan like Superman. It says it in this article right here. So if you're interested in actually knowing his exact comments, go ahead and take a look at this article. Again, I'll have all this in the description down below. But he basically said, they were looking at this like you could do anything with this character. You could change genres. You can do all these things, and they probably did too much with it, and it's a mistake that he regrets and that he will probably not do again, because I think it's a great lesson for a head of studio like Jason Blum. And Jason Blum has had a very successful career. He's made like movies for $8 to $10 million, and they've grossed hundreds of $1,000,000. So has a very successful studio over there at Blumhouse, with Universal backing them, things of that sort. So the fact that they have a major flop like this, I'm sure, is devastating, especially when everyone was so excited for putting this movie out there. But I think the mistake that they made was the genre change. And they're not the first. They're not the first horror movie to do that. Alien became Aliens, which became an action movie. Terminator 1, which is mostly horror action based, became more of a super action, less no really horror in Terminator 2. So there is precedent for movies doing that. But the problem is, I think, with Megan 1, people were probably more hoping to have more of the creepy doll vibes with the robotic and AI and things like that. And certain ways that the way that they brought this into the action genre was maybe incorrect. Maybe they didn't do it right, or maybe there's just the audience wasn't interested in seeing Megan be anything other than the serial killer she was in the first movie. But who knows? It's hard for me to say. I honestly haven't even seen the movie Megan 2. I just haven't really been interested in going to check it out. Maybe if I have some time this week, I'll go to the theaters and check it out if I have the time to spare. But most likely I will not be checking out Megan. But let me know what you guys think. Have you seen Megan 2? Did you like the changes that they made? Do you disagree with with the comments Jason Blum has said? Are you happy with it? Or do you agree and you're just not interested in this movie? It seems that a lot of people haven't seen it, and they probably won't be making a sequel unless they go back to their roots, maybe an origins type movie or something in between. Who knows? But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And that does it for today's episode of the Truly Odd podcast. I want to thank you all for joining me. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe. And remember, guys, always, until next time, stay true, be odd.